Good morning, team. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Good morning, chat. What's going on? All right, let's mark off some of our pre-market levels real quick. That's our London high, London low, and then we'll mark off our Asia. Cool. And then looking at gold. Took a couple of longs on gold last night. It actually, I had this green zone I was watching for it to bounce off of. It didn't quite come down there, but it did bounce at the previous weekly VWAP close. So I was looking for longs yesterday. Right now, though, we're coming into resistance. And then gold also has contract rollover this week, so that's making it a little bit funky. NQ bounced off a pretty good high volume node down here last night at 23,100, and it reclaimed that previous day low. We do have Trump kind of talking about like Iran negotiations and all that, so that's something to be aware of. As far as news today, I don't think we have any news, but I think we have Powell speaking at 10:30, right after an hour after the market open. That's kind of a big deal. So we shall see what we get. What are you guys thinking in the chat? You guys thinking up or down today? What are your thoughts? We are hovering right at Friday's point of control. I like to look at the previous day or week VWAP close, and we're right at that. 23,561 is where it was from Friday's close. And that's interesting that we rejected right there. I have it currently on the 5-minute time frame. I do have a watermark in the back so you can see it. Right at the pivot point. Yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling. Lactic acid law. Gonna just stay patient and see what we get, because we're at kind of a turning point. Like, we bounced off of good support in the Asia session, but we're hitting resistance. To be honest, I have no idea. Let's see what happens with Powell. I feel ya on that. What is Powell even talking about? Do you guys know? I don't really see a whole lot of news other than the Iran stuff with Trump, saying that negotiations are like in the works. We all know what happened last time, though. He said that last week, and Iran came out with a comment and was like, we're not even close to negotiations. You tried to use my Tradeify link, but it didn't work. Let me grab the right one. That's good to know. I'm a die proponent. I just put the correct Tradeify link in the chat. That should be right. The one that's in the description is the same as the one that I just posted. Let me know if that works for you. If not, I gotta figure that out. Oh, thanks for the info about the contract change. Yeah, you got to be aware of that with TradeSyncer, or I assume any trade copier you're using. I don't have experience with anything except TradeSyncer, but you have to make sure to add the new contract, otherwise it won't copy trade right. Kyla Briel, I am super excited about the Tradeify updates. They're coming tomorrow. I know I originally posted today, but the email said like it's coming tomorrow, and then it said details released Tuesday. So I clarified. I think it's Tuesday. But there's two things with Lucid that you guys can probably figure it out by the clues I'm going to give you. There's two things with Lucid that make me promote Lucid a little bit more, just because these features are really cool. And now Tradeify is going to have them. So Tradeify might be taking my #1 spot. But Lucid and Tradeify are definitely my two favorite prop firms. I'm excited. Can you guess? Sure, you can guess. I can't tell you if I'm going to give you the right answer, but you can guess. No, the point of control is using the volume profile. It's the most traded price for the previous session. You're very warm, Kyla. I'll tell you, you're on the right track. All right, guys, market's open. I'm going to stay patient, see what we get. Because we're kind of at a chop zone. See if we get any liquidity grabs. A nice run up to this 579 and sweep of London high could be good. If this is going to be a bullish day, I could see it possibly bouncing at this value area low. If we have a big drop, I mean, not that big, but we have London low, we have the gap fill, and we have our weekly, our VWAP at 316. So this whole area from like 360 to 316 could be a good bounce spot too. No funded activation. Tradeify already doesn't have a funded activation. VWAP I have anchored from the 1 minute candle at 9:30. So it's this blue one right here. That's why there's that weird like sudden move in that line. It's because it re-anchors right here at that 9:30 candle. Kyla, you're a good guesser. I'm just going to say you're on the right track. Very much on the right track. Maybe a couple other good things in there too. What am I trading today? I am on MNQ. I have my eye on gold, but I don't love gold today just because of contract rollover week. And I took a couple trades on it last night, and right now it kind of looks choppy. So I don't see anything that I'm loving on gold right now. So focusing on NQ this morning, and then I always have ES up on another chart just to watch for confluences, like if they're both sweeping the London high liquidity at the same time or something like that. Well, this is a pretty slow open. Kind of makes you wonder if we're not going to get much good price action until after Powell speaks. There you go, Kyla. Use your good guessing skills to tell us with your magic 8 ball. Should we go long or short? All right, heading down. Let's see where we bounce if we do. Value area low would be the first spot. If it breaks through there, I'm going to watch for this zone. London low sweep down to like VWAP and gap fill. Maybe a bounce down here. I'm watching ES at the same time too because ES has the VWAP and London low at the same spot. So that would be a nice bounce. Let me move over to that chart real quick. So this is VWAP on ES and London low is right there. So 64, 26 to 22. If ES and NQ kind of bounce at the same time, that could be a good long. You'd love to see Powell announce an emergency rate hike? Well, I highly doubt that would happen. But if it does, the market would go insane. I don't think I would want to trade that if that happens. I've never heard anyone call Trump President Pump and Dump. Have him fire up the social media account. That's hilarious. It's not a bad name. The zone I marked, I didn't mark it because it's a gap. It's just kind of a region where there's London low and the gap fill and VWAP all kind of in this general zone. So it's a zone, I guess. President Pumpkin. Oh my goodness. You guys are making me laugh. No, I haven't seen a bounce on ES. I mean, unless you're talking like a bounce from 47 to 51, like 4 points. Not that much. Still headed lower, just like NQ. How do I mark London high and low? So there's indicators that you can use called like trading sessions or market sessions. There's lots of different ones. So that's what I do just to make it faster and easier. Or you can just mark off the time zones. But that's what I do. I just turn on the market sessions. And then I draw a line. Like I get my little horizontal line tool and I mark off a line. That way I can turn off that indicator, keep it a little bit cleaner. Coming down towards London low. Again, I'm watching ES2 to see if they both kind of bounce at the same time. That would be cool. A little extra confluence. Anna, your VWAP is in a different place. So this gray one is anchored at the 6 p.m. open from last night. And then this blue one up here, that would be the New York session anchored VWAP at 9:30. We still have about 5 minutes left until our 15-minute opening range is set. Why 9:30 and not 9:30? Oh, 8:30. Well, I'm Central Time Zone, so if my chart is confusing you, I talk in Eastern Time Zone, but on my chart it's marked at 8:30, which is when the market open was. So I have it anchored at 8:30 on my chart, which is 9:30 Eastern. What trading view platform do I use? I didn't know there were different kinds of trading view platforms. Oh, trading viewing platform. This is trading view. I'm watching this London low here. I might let it come down, see if it will come down a little bit further though. Reason being, I'm watching ES too, and ES still has quite a ways to go until it reaches its London low. But we also do have this liquidity here at 64.32 that it could bounce off of. So, again, just staying patient. Take note, Marvel. Maybe. Maybe. You'll find out tomorrow. OMG. You're gonna have a panic attack. I can't wait 24 hours. Still headed down. We got about 1 minute until our 15-minute opening range is set. Drifters going long on ES. Let's go. I do like the idea of longs. I think for me, I could still see it coming a little bit lower. It's at, NQ is at 23,400 right now. London low is at 360. So if I was to take a long here, stop loss would be pretty big. It could also even come down to VWAP. So I'm going to see if it comes a little bit lower first. Dang, Verisat. Let's go. Powell will talk. Yep. In like 45 minutes. All right. Breaking out of the 15-minute opening range low just a little bit, kind of peekabooing out. Let's see what happens at this London low and VWAP area. Okay, I was wondering what Powell was talking about. It's bouncing right at London low, but it didn't like really come down and grab the liquidity. Still waiting. All right, it's dropping below it. ES is sitting right at VWAP, but still above its London low. We're not getting that high volume, like engulfing aggressive buy up off of that London low like I would look for with a liquidity sweep. So if we're going to get along, that's not what I'm looking for. Buenos dias. No, I don't speak Spanish. I was just saying good morning back. I know how to say good morning. I know a few very basic things, like I can get myself around an airport. I can probably be dangerous at a restaurant, and I could order food. I don't know if I would get the right food, but I could order food at a restaurant. I can do a few basic things in Spanish, but no, I definitely don't speak it. Don't speak Spanish. I'm very intelligent and I learn fast. I know a few of those words. So I took Spanish for 4 years in high school. And I wasn't fluent, but I knew a lot of Spanish. Like, I went on a mission trip to Mexico and everyone asked me to talk to people because I could definitely get around and like find my way around town. But that was a long time ago and you lose it really fast. So recently, my husband and I have kind of been like trying to do the Duolingo and stuff very inconsistently, but it comes back fast. I feel like if I was actually consistent with it, I could get it back. What am I looking for right now? So I was watching this green box area because we have London low, we have VWAP, and then our gap fill is right below it. But it's not giving me that like liquidity sweep that I would look for. ES is sitting right at VWAP. NQ has a little bit lower to come down to VWAP. But I'm looking for longs. I just haven't seen the confirmation I'm looking for yet. Your kids are bilingual? That's awesome. I feel like this thing is about to just like blast to the upside and I'm going to have to chase it. But trying to stay patient. All right, come down to VWAP. Come on. Gold looks sell-y. Is that your technical analysis term? I like it. Gold looks sell-y. I don't like this chop. I feel like a big move is going to happen. It's either just going to dump big time or explode up. Do I lock VWAP at open? I anchor it. So the lighter blue line up here, that's the anchored VWAP from the New York session. All right, NQ is coming down to VWAP. ES is close to London low. Let's see if we actually get a bounce from here. This would be closer to where I would want to take a long. Let's see if it actually bounces. What's up, Waffles? I'm gonna try it because this is the zone I was watching for. Tiny, tiny risk. It's gonna be like, that's it right there. I'm out. Okay. We do have the gap fill at 308. So I might try one more time if it comes down there. Almost there. Let's see. Let's see what happens. I guess the market doesn't want to hear what Powell has to say. Powell or all the war stuff, I don't know. But headed down. All right, did not bounce in that area. So at this point, next trade idea I'll be watching for is we have previous day low, possible bounce there, or since we obviously broke to the downside on the 15-minute opening range low, we could look for a retest of this New York anchored VWAP at about 405 and then take a short from there. Yeah, carry trades. The 15-minute opening range breakout was a tough trade today. Because even when we did finally get a closure outside of the range, it just chopped there for a while. And it was sitting right near a bounce zone. Yep, you guys are correct. Powell speaks at 10:30. So 30 minutes. As we start to get closer to the time that he's talking, be careful, you guys. Gold is making its way back down to VWAP. 45.37-ish is what I have. The ones I have on my chart right now are for the previous day New York session. So I only go from 9:30 to 4. It's not for the whole session. Usually if people have different values, it's because they used the whole session. So I'm not sure if you did that or not. I can look again, make sure I did it right. So 8:30 to 3 o'clock for me. Yeah. So I draw my fixed range volume profile for the New York session. That's how I mark it off. All right, we don't really need our London low anymore since that wasn't a liquidity grab trade. Wonder if this thing is just going to keep dumping. Kind of looks that way. If it came back up and retested this New York anchored VWAP, I'd look for a short. We're not getting much of a bounce back up there, though. Kind of watching gold, too, to see if it comes back down to VWAP here at 45.37-ish and bounces back up. I have a fib drawn from the whole range of today. And the midpoint of today's whole range is right around VWAP. 45.28-ish. So watching to see what happens there. Maybe short from here. Come on back up a little bit. What percentage do I use for the value area width? I think it's the standard 70%. So let me see what my settings are. Yep, 70. I didn't change that though. That was just the normal settings. Looks like it's trying to break back above VWAP. Anchored at the session open. Let's see if it makes it back up here to the New York one. Gold unable to go lower. Yeah, that's kind of why I'm watching for a long if it comes just a little bit lower down to VWAP. Because it looks like it's trying to bounce. Show my chart with gold. What do you want to see? All right. NQ is still making its way up a little bit. How is the fib correctly drawn, from the wicks or the bodies? I do it from the wicks. There's so many different ways to do Fibonacci though, and honestly I don't use it that much. I only use it with one gold strategy. And then I kind of use it on NQ just to find like the midpoint of a range. But I'm not a fib expert. So there might be strategies where you can do it from the body of the candle. I don't know. All right, watching to see what happens up here at like 381-ish. 385, somewhere around here. Might take a short. We do have Pal speaking in 18 minutes, though. G-Man, did you get in a long on gold? I was watching to see if it would come down to VWAP. It never did. Not quite all the way. So if it bounces from here, then I'm gonna have missed it. Ah, okay, you locked out. Good for you. All right, I'm gonna try a short 358. I'm gonna watch and see what happens at previous day low, but really it could come down lower if this thing is going to be bearish. Come on, let's get some continuation. Curious to see where the midpoint of our whole range today is. We're sitting right at it. That's good to know. So if we're going to get longs today, this would be a good spot to bounce. Another thing we could do is anchor a VWAP at the low of today. I like to do that just to kind of see where the shift in momentum is. So let's make that red. We did cross below it. Yep, Pal speaks in about 11 minutes. All right, I'll trail it a little bit in profit. Mostly because Pal's speaking. And I don't trust it. Financial Juice now says 2:30. Did they reschedule it? Oh, yeah. They did reschedule it. That's interesting. Well, thanks for pointing that out. Good to know. Interesting spot right here, chopping right between the VWAPs. I'm still glad I took that trade, though. That was one of my best setups. Opening range breakout and then retest a VWAP continuation. So, good trade, just didn't play out. It's kind of gotten choppy here. All right, watching gold. I have it up on another chart. Starting to make its way down to VWAP. Let's see what happens here. See if we get a bounce. Your Financial Juice still says 10:30. Maybe you refresh it. I just refreshed mine and it moved to 3:30. Oh my gosh. I refreshed it again. Now it says 10:30. WTF, you guys. Nobody knows when Powell's speaking. That's so dumb. I saw what you were talking about, Kimmer. I refreshed it and it moved to this afternoon and now it's back. Oh, man. Well, that could be why NQ is a little bit choppy right now. I was being a little bit too greedy with my pullback hopes on gold. Didn't quite come all the way down to where I was watching. The name Powell haunts the markets. Yeah. That's the reason for the chop. Nobody knows what he's going to say. Man, I'm almost leaning towards long on NQ just because we're not getting that continuation down and it's holding the midpoint of today's range. I just want to see it break above that New York anchored VWAP first. Like if it can hold above 379, that was a nice little bounce on gold. Just didn't come low enough. 45.37 was what I wanted to enter at. Not sure how much more like good trending price action we're going to get today. Might not happen until after Powell speaks. And I don't really want to like take news trades and just chase his announcements or whatever he's talking about. You're trying long on ES? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. It's holding that VWAP level, not getting continuation down. Hold your seatbelts. Nothing's really moving right now. There you go, Drifter. I like to see that. Congrats. The time frame I have up right now is the 1 minute. On a day like today where it's kind of choppy, not going anywhere, it's probably better to zoom out. Still watching to see if NQ maybe reclaims VWAP and the 15-minute opening range low gets above 378-ish. You wonder how long he's going to be talking? I don't know. It's a good question. Yeah, I know a couple people have said that it's not anything that's like based on a data release or anything like that, or like interest rate decisions. But still, I feel like when he talks, the market gets nervous. 3 hours? He's going to talk for 3 hours? Oh, that would be painful. ES and NQ are kind of doing the same thing, just chopping around between the VWAPs. Stuck below that 15-minute opening range low, but we're not getting continuation down, which is kind of making me lean towards a long. So if we can break and hold above this opening range low and VWAP area, I'm going to grab along. Let's see what happens, though. Rally if he wears his purple tie. Has he come on yet? What's he wearing? Oh, yeah. Typo in my auto message. I'll get that fixed. Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, I agree. Even if he's not having a specific speech about our economy, the market is pausing for it. Like, you can tell volatility is a little bit lower. It seems like they're cautiously waiting to see what he's saying. If it keeps chopping like this, I might come back like after lunch or something and look at the charts. I don't want to be trading if it stays like this. All right, so one thing to watch for, we have our initial balance. See if we get a bounce here. All right, I'm going to try a long. Seeing if the bounce off the initial balance works. The best trade was the morning drop. Yes, indeed it was. Yeah, I'm trading micros. This is MNQ. So the midpoint of our range is here at like 23,415. Or we have our New York anchored VWAP there at 372. The initial balance is the first 60 minutes of the New York session. It's the high and the low. So it's basically like the 60-minute opening range. Why is my stop not at the low? So I have my stop loss at the initial balance low. I know it's not below that previous wick, but the idea is that I wanted it to bounce off the initial balance low and continue. And really, if it comes back down, then I want to be out of the trade. We definitely have resistance overhead with VWAPs. So I was just looking for a retrace back to that New York anchored VWAP. But it's coming back down. Alrighty. Anytime Powell speaks, I guess the market goes down. What's gold doing? It's also chopping between the VWAPs too. Yep, it stopped me out. I'm out of that trade. And I might call it for the day, honestly. Not feeling like I have a great read on the market, and now with Powell speaking, don't know if I want to be in the middle of it. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do, gang. I think I'm going to call it here. I might come look again on my own this afternoon after Powell's done and see if there's any clear levels. But I'm not liking this price action. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Come hang out in Discord too. Trade safe, you guys, if you're going to be trading. Thanks for coming by. Have a good day, guys. Bye.